Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very special edition of the Wacky Woo. Tonight, Mr. Joe, JSNIP4, and Mr. Richard, Woo Woo Dude, are with me to discuss everything about the Operation London Bridge. Yes, the Queen is dead. Joe, Richard, welcome back to the show. How are you guys?
Good evening.
Pretty good.
Awesome. Guys, before we start the show, please give some love here to JSNIP42 on YouTube and also here on his Patreon at patreon.com/JSNIP4. And if you're looking to get a booking with Mr. Woo Woo Dude himself, you can do so at woowoodude.com. Guys, crazy day today. We've been talking about this particular event here for quite some time. A lot of people in the Woo community suggested, read, remote viewed that perhaps she was already dead a while back and that we were prepping the stage for the actual announcements. Well, here we are today. It is officially announced in our mainstream news. Joe, let me start with you. Let's do a quick recap of how you've addressed this in the last couple of months. I'll ask the same thing also to Richard. And then we'll get into questions with the audience as to what this means moving forward now. We're hearing a lot of talk about Operation London Bridge today, Operation Unicorn, and a lot of people are connecting this perhaps to the numbered boards and how perhaps there could be a change here to the financial system and some of the warnings that were just put out a couple of days ago from Ezra on Shadow of Ezra on his Telegram. So we'll connect all the dots for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here on this live interactive show. Joe, set the stage a little bit for everybody else here. How was coming about in your mind, in your dreamscape, and in some of your woo-woo tentacles here in the last couple of months?
Yeah, so interestingly, I've not had anything ever, I don't believe, in my dreams about the Queen of England, or really Europe, or just all my stuff was based, mostly seemed like USA stuff, But I mean, I'm getting dreams about Ilhan Omar. I got one recently about Maxine Waters, which was odd. I never had anything about her. Two or three, Nancy Pelosi, all kind of in recent times. Now, Ilhan Omar, not so much. That was last year, but Nancy twice recently. Maxine was quite recently, just that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we look at the Queen, let's go back to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who appeared for all intents and purposes to be put on ice way long before the announcement was made.
Yeah.
So we now have the Queen. We've been hearing stuff. Gematria has already been calling for her, demise and everything else. And all of a sudden, today's the day. So tomorrow is 9/9/2022. Okay, flip the nines, and those become 6/6. 2022. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 is 6.
Mm-hmm.
You have 666.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not on the day. It's the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So we know how the elite love to do stuff on the day of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see something happen not on the day of, that tells me someone else may have done this. Kind of like the guide stones in Georgia.
That's a good point, because don't forget today, 9 and 8 adds up to 17, and so we all know what 17 also represents here. So you might be indicating here that there's something happening on a bigger scale.
Well, let's talk about 17 for a second.
Right. Not to be confused with 107. We're talking about 17.
Yeah. The number 17 in the alphabetical equivalents. The very, very, very first post was about the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I went and read it today. And it even gave a date and said October 30th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Except 2017. Well, that came and went. What happened? Again, we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
And yes, I got a dream of Hillary Clinton. She was next after Ilhan Omar is what I saw in that dream. But the first post ever, October 28th, 2017. I went ahead and checked the date, because you can just type it in the internet real quick, how many days are between the two dates. Boom, a calculator pops up. 1776 today. Queen's
Alrighty.
dead. Ding dong, the queen is gone.
Uh-huh.
In 1776, which is a very important date of freedom in our country, extremely important. Speaking of which, you know, we've been fighting against the crown back then and then again in the war in 1812 and all that. But 1776 days ago, the first post was made. So if this isn't a white hat operation, just letting you know, guys, we're still in charge.
Yeah.
They're not going to get it on their day. It's going to go on our terms. Today's the day. Not tomorrow. It's not 666 day. No, it's today. So, of course, there's the talk of, well, what about the 10 days of darkness and this and that? And, you know, again, don't know. We've all been trying to figure that stuff out. Right. And it's been difficult. But this is a huge, huge thing. You know, and we would keep talking about this bridge over troubled water, the song, you know, and the first thing that came up was Ukraine. Then there was something else, bridge collapse. So was it Taiwan? Another country he keeps talking about, China, watch China and Taiwan. A bridge collapse over there. And then we have today, because of the Queen, they're prepping London Bridge, something or another. So you want to talk about, you know, the meme of bridge over troubled water. And again, his black swan events, one after another, after the Queen's gone. Chalk that off as another one. So I don't know if you want to show some of the things now on like Entheos or just get right into that or what.
Let's get Richard to chime in here also first, and then we'll get into some of these weirder posts here in the last couple of hours. Richard, you were on the show last year too. We were talking about, I forget what it was at the time, that either the Queen was already dead or that she wasn't long for this world. And you had mentioned something to me, I forget what it was, about how this was connected to a signal that Trump had made when he was walking in front of the Queen. Do you remember that statement? Bring that back for the audience here. That whole idea of Trump doing this tour around the world and how some people were really, really aggrieved that he was walking in front of the Queen as opposed to walking behind her in one of these ceremonial guard inspection storylines. Can you explain that to the audience, Richard?
Sure, but I have to start off with a denial, Phil. As I salute you, I know nothing. I know nothing. You remember that, Colonel Klink? Oh, that was past your age. So, yeah, this is a big thing. And I guess what a lot of people are going, I didn't think of that, was what's the biggest drop of a certain letter that would happen today? She is the what? Queen of England, right? How do you spell that? We're all going, dude. Yeah. Bridge over troubled water. Okay. Now, I've been waiting. I didn't know if it was going to go this way or whatever. Do you remember when I discussed with you that we were discussing about tidal waves coming to New York? And I said it would start in Europe and head this way. And each one of the bridges, you and I would talk, Joe, and I'd say, each bridge will become bigger, right? When you and I hold conversations. And right, the lowering of this bridge over troubled water, all right, it begins now. Now, the other thing that you have to look at, and again, I was waiting for this, on this great date, they just upped, 75 on the basis points in Europe. The EU's going to collapse.
I didn't even hear that. That was today?
Yeah.
In Canada also, we just upped 75 basis points.
Gosh, we wouldn't want to leave you out of it. All right. There's no way to stop this now. All right. The collapse will start to happen very, very quickly as things go backwards. Remember last time we talked that I said that, all right, I got to be careful on how I say this stuff. Okay, I don't even know how to say what I want to say because I don't want to get nailed and I don't want you to go offline here. But all I could say is now this is going to speed up very, very quickly. So do you remember when I said that the EU would begin to split up and factions would be against factions? You're already seeing that occurring. That last thing that I had, that there would be a big earthquake that would separate East from West, two different financial systems. The one in the East would do better than the one in the West in the beginning. That's what we're seeing right now. And I said there would be a separation in a gold mine. I didn't know how it would happen. And then Joe sent me the thing about the LBMA that there's going to be a complete separation. So
let me add one thing. JC, I've got 2 things I found in some of the old Webbot reports. Speaking of London LBMA, the Queen, the Royals. So we're going to get on that too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good. Yes. Okay, very good. Keep going, Richard.
So again, this is all coming in line. So what I say to people, a lot of people I talk to out there, some are panicking, and I'm saying to this, calm your horses. All right. This is a chessboard. Don't get in a hurry to move all your pieces around. Stay where you are, stay calm, and take a look at how things change before you start running around like a crazy person. This is how you get hurt. Just take a deep breath. Let the playboard happen. All right. It's going to happen quickly. When my buddy showed up, I said, this will be a September to remember. Are you ready to rumble? Whatever happens in September will run into November. Okay. So this is one big thing, and it's all interconnected. So everything you can think of, remember the black swans? What's today's date? Holy crap, a roll. We're not that far in, are we? And they're dropping very, very rapidly. So hang on. This is going to change very, very quickly. But again, when we're talking the alphabet, could you get a bigger letter than what just happened? Okay, this is a very, very serious moment, and it's the change. Okay, but understand, they're going for it. Okay, and they're going to put as much harm as they can throughout the EU, but things are just going to go crazy. Jesus, that's a handsome looking guy. What the hell?
All right.
Star Wars.
Shadow of Ezra here. The new WO was born, of course, on September, and then 1/1. Again, we're just trying to choose our words carefully here. So, Joe, going back to this idea here of London Bridge and how we have some dominoes or a bunch of false other issues happening, swans in the air falling down, dark swans, we'll call them that. What do you make of this TikTok tweet here, or this was an Instagram post? How does this?
Yeah, it was Telegram.
Yeah,
because I've got that, and there's been a couple more you just added. There, I've had, and I think I mentioned on one of the shows, I'm pretty sure, with us live, I had a dream, and again, the Queen falling right now, like I don't, and again, maybe she's been gone for a while. Again, everything is important, dates, times, gematria, the stars, like they pick stuff on certain dates. So I had a dream that I was the new Pope. The old Pope had died. He's gone. I immediately come into the Catholic Church and I make a few, not a lot, a few enormous changes within the church. I don't know what, but I remember knowing the changes that I'm about to make and will make here are going to be extremely positive for the whole human race on planet Earth. Me as the new Pope.
Sorry.
There's no telling.
There's no telling. Bring down the gain on your microphone. A few people are saying you're cracking up a little bit. You're cracking me up, but bring your gain down just a tad. Okay, go ahead.
Let's try that.
Yeah, that's better.
So I don't know what the changes were. I just know I'm making changes. I'm in charge. The old Pope's gone. I'm here. Here's the changes. It's going to be unbelievably good for humanity. And that's the bottom line. And then I get the scene change kind of a thing. And there were some high level people within the church. Of course, I'm the highest because I'm the Pope now. But there was some high level, people, as we might call with the Trump when Trump was in power, the stay behind deep state, right? Stay behind networks, as they called them, who made his job very difficult. So there was some of these stay behind higher level people in the church who were not happy with my changes that I just made. And I immediately get this knowledge. One of them has, I think, I had to look at my dream book, but I think he drowned. He went swimming or something happened. He drowned and died. One of these people who was upset with my change. And so another bad one bites the dust. So that was a dream I just had not that long ago. So now that the Queen is officially, for the record anyways, gone, today's the day, 1776, first thing, post on the message board. Come on, man. The letter Q is the first letter that makes the word Queen. Okay. You got a picture of Donald Trump back then walking in front of her like a freaking, put that up, man. Put that back up. Like a boss standing there.
Yep.
I'm in charge. This is me. She's behind me. You soldiers, look at me. Thanks. I'm the new boss. That's what that says with confidence. And how long ago was that? And then we had the Queen who was taken from the palace and she went over COVID. She's over here now. Her crew's over here with her. That one's missing. That one went away. What happened? Remember the guard gates? The things were taken down. The windows were covered up. What happened? What was all that? So we started seeing the dismantling, as Woo Woo Dude had said, the changing of the guard is taking place. So now we've got a little more confirmation. So the Queen's gone. Like he said, now it's just going to be rapid fire. Get ready. Boom, boom, boom. There's going to be some booms coming, probably short and sweet. So if I got the dream of the Pope thing, and I'm seeing Ilhan Omar arrested, I'm seeing Hillary essentially arrested after her, at least in the dream, Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, like I'm getting all this stuff in my dreams. And if it was just dreams, that's one thing, but I've done so many posts. Oh, that just happened. Like, and I'm trying to think, I might have even been on your show when I said this the other day about a dream of I don't know if I did or not, a small airplane crash. I go, small airplane crash, high school. It was an accident. I saw it in a dream. So about 10 days went by or so, and I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, I wonder let me just look online real quick to see if there's any news. Boom. 1 day ago, of course, so 9 days later, I'm on the 10th day, remembering the dream, go, oh, let me just look for news. I find this dream, or this event. Small plane crashed in a high school, right in the field in the high school. And I go, son of a bitch, and so I'm just saying that because there's another one that I got a dream about. It wasn't some huge event, but so what? I've had some. So if my dreams
at some point you start adding up, yeah, you're right.
And I'm telling you, these people are getting arrested in my dreams, and I'm waking up with that connection, going, oh yeah, I can't go back to bed now. That was a powerful one. Like, it's going to happen. So if that stuff's going to happen, then that picture you just posted, if you want to put that back up of the Pope in the wheelchair, from one of the Telegram channels, we'll say, and after that TikTok is another TikTok known as Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband, the Jew. And then Edward Snowden TikTok. And then Huma Abedin. And then Hillary Clinton, he just posted. This is today. He posted his next TikTok. And then I forget that guy's name. He was like a Trump supporter guy, Reverend sounding guy. I can't think of his name. And then this other guy, I don't know who he is. And then they've got Podesta with the fish thing and the hands up. TikTok, wow. He's next. And then he posted a picture, which I'm not going to post it, of, I'll just say, what looks like a very young Obama in Middle Eastern attire with an AK-47 in his hand with the rest of these kids. And I mean kids, like 10, 12, 13 years old. It looks like I might be staring at a young Obama. I say I'm not, but it kind of looks like him. Also, there's a similar person that looks very much like him if he was a kid.
Right.
And he just posted that moments ago. So TikTok, X that one, Queen, which they've told us about, X that one. Like, you got to know people. Again, it's a little scary out there, but man, the good guys are in charge. It's going down. I'm yelling timber. Remember that one?
Yeah.
JFK kids.
Let me ask Richard here too, Joe. In the list of dominoes that are falling there too, you brought this person up here, and what was interesting, just a day ago, yes, this was Zero Hedge. She was confirming that for sure, she would never run for president again. Richard, set the stage here on what you think has been happening with her here in the last maybe year or two, and why now this announcement in the context, of course, of the London Bridge domino. Go ahead, Richard.
All righty, this is the best way to do this one. They're bringing a song to me, and it's The Wizard of Oz. Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Da, 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 da. Okay, now we could go on to something else. Yeah, she ain't gonna even exist.
She can't run.
Thank you. She can't even.
We'll
walk.
just say that she can't run physically.
Okay.
That'll be the answer.
I love that your people are intelligent and they're grabbing these breadcrumbs going, you know, it's like you're talking with a 3-letter agency. Well, you are. So just, you know, all these things are coming down one after the other. I mean, they really are. And they're trying to put it out there big enough so you can take a look at it and see it. All right. Remember when I had the visitation with, I don't know, what was that, 2 weeks ago? When I said that, that a certain man showed up and he said, get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
That rumble, everything that you get from spirit, it can have many, many meanings. And it's no different than plane crashes or helicopter crashes. Well, they give it to you, but then there's another, but there's always a meaning behind it. And, you know, when he said, get ready to rumble, and then I was on your podcast, and I went, they said, well, that's a means of communication. And then you hold up a mic, right? Yeah, rumble is a means of communication, right? That, again, you have to look at a lot of different things in many different directions. And Cliff would tell you that one word can have many, many, many meanings. And you just, you know, this is an incredible puzzle. It's exciting, you know, to connect these dots the way you are. And you just got to realize there really is a big hand involved here. Okay. The whole world is going to change. It has to. Humanity has to change. And the dark side is being rooted out. Right?
Did you know when Trump, I don't know if it was his last rally or just the one before that, but it was just days ago. And they played like this kind of interesting music at the end of his speech. It was kind of made him a little more powerful, you know, because of the music they played like as an outro. It was 2 minutes and 22 seconds long.
Get out of here.
Come on.
The 2-2 parable continues on. You know, it's funny. You guys, and I didn't even put this together. You guys have been talking about 1776. So again, the way spirit brings things, I'm driving up the highway to my town, and I never really stare at the little signs that says, oh, you know, welcome to Washington. And then for whatever reason, I had to stare at it, and I go, this town was established in 1776. I go on, there's something to that, you know? And it's like one thing after another. It's kind of like all the people that are out there listening, they have such incredible abilities. There's no coincidence. They bring these things to you for you to pay attention to. It's just you've got to be able to see them, you know, and take notice to them. This is an exciting time. That's what I say. It ain't the time to freak out.
No, exactly. Kevin says here, hey, the required 10 days of mourning for the Queen's death could be the 10 days of darkness. Maybe. But
someone said that earlier to me.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Joe, let me tie in also this other, I can bring that in here. This was 2 days ago, again, from Shadow of Ezra. He's talking about, let me bring that comment off there so you can read that whole thing. He's talking about evacuating these 17 cities. So there's 17 of all of them here. So again, that number is in your face. And somebody reported to me here today, and I'm not sure, I'm Canadian, so you guys maybe can confirm this or not, but apparently in each of those cities named here, there is a branch of the Federal Reserve. Is there a connection here to perhaps this one event? Richard called this flood of this financial system. It would start in Europe and then eventually hit here. Is that a continuation of that water event, but we're thinking about it as water as opposed to maybe liquidity of cash and perhaps a closure or an event here at the federal level, Federal Reserve level? Let me start with Joe first, and then I'll ask Richard also to chime in on that. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, because of my dreams and the water thing, I gotta say it's real water. There's a real water event. However, I will say someone had messaged me today regarding those 17 cities thing you just posted. And they said, number one, I'll say this. I think there's either 12 or 13 total branches of the Federal Reserve. So, of course, there's 17 of those cities listed. But nonetheless, I do believe there is a branch in every one of those cities that there is one. So that's interesting.
It could also be just federal offices that are not necessarily open to the public also. So some type of federal buildings. Yeah, go ahead.
And they said to me, when the remote viewers over at Crypto Viewing did this month, which was several days ago, their little, kind of a look-see that they do. He said, one of them was reluctant about sharing some stuff that he got in a session, so they just left that out. And I won't even mention who it was, but he goes, here's a couple of the screenshots. And he basically said, it looks like there is going to, again, this is what he thought he saw, some type of attacks, events, terror event in multiple cities. So the thing I have a problem with is one event, 17 cities. That's unless it's one singular, whatever, multiple things happening at the same time, so they consider it one event. Kind of like 9/11. We call 9/11 a single event. However, the Pentagon was hit, the Twin Towers were hit, the one plane crashed, it was on its way. There were several things to it, but we do refer to that as one event. So maybe, this is that statement could be true in that one event like 9/11, 17 cities. So that's possible. And again, I've seen the dreams, and 3 of those cities listed on that 17 right there: New York, Las Vegas, and Miami, Florida. I've had dreams where it was either a terror event, flooding event, I'm running away, trying to escape something. Like that's what happened there. Las Vegas in particular, I just remember the lights being out. I don't necessarily felt like I was an attack or a flood, but it was, for some reason, the power went out and I wanted to get out of there. So that was the only one where it wasn't so scary. But what are the chances, I like to ask myself, that they put up 17, cities there, and I've only had 3 cities ever show up in my dreams, and therefore that's all I've had, but they're all listed. So, okay, we might be getting close to something like that happening. And
let me bring something else in here too, and I want Richard to chime in. On my show on, was it last night? I believe it was last night, the Divine Feminine Oracle show with Julie and Sophie. Sophie's a tarot reader. She has a lot of clients on a weekly basis. And we usually ask her when she's back on the show, what seems to be the theme that's coming up with your clients? What are the general questions, the general malaise, the dreamscape, whatever? And in this last episode, last night, she said, everybody's getting a dream of water, 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 and having to move to higher altitudes. So I was like, oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. That's kind of oddball all of a sudden. And I was thinking about, you mentioned the WebBot data earlier, Joe. Cliff had this idea of, or this terminology, I believe, starting in 2016, 17, about these atmospheric rivers, where we would have this river in the sky just dump on a city, creating these huge flood rains. Does that make sense also perhaps for these 17 cities all at the same time, as opposed to maybe a coastal event?
Yeah, as opposed to coastal, because some of the cities aren't anywhere near the coast. So that's what threw me off. I go, well, it can't be that. But again, if it was a major water event, those cities are spread across the entire US. Right. So it's like, Would it really rain like that? I mean, I thought, well, what if it's a solar flare, or we're told it's a solar flare, and they
Right.
show you some fake CGI from NASA. Look at the sun; it burped off this thing, you know. But it wipes out a whole bunch of satellites. And again, Space Force just took over all the communication satellites in the U.S. in space. Again, Space Force is good guys. So what's up with that? And what if power went out? That's what I thought. Maybe power could go out in some of these cities due to a solar flare. They're having problems getting the power back on because Tori says, she's absolutely an insider, has been hinting around, we are not going to have elections in November. It's just not going to go through. Something's going to happen. She won't say what, how she knows, but that when that chick opens her mouth, people should listen because she has not been wrong yet.
Well,
And,
Penny
she
Kelly's been
works
on
for
that
the
for a
government.
while too. Penny Kelly also on her look-sees has been on the fact that we probably will not have an election, or at least not what we think of a regular election here in the fall. Let me ask you also, Richard, what do you make of these 17 cities? How do you tie all of this in? Any message from Spirit in there, or any dreamscape stuff you want to share with the audience?
Well, again, what I get from there is don't panic, all right, because events could happen, obviously, in any of those big cities. For the longest time, Joe and I have talked about that Spirit was all over. They're going to do everything to stop the elections. So it's not going to happen the way that we will think. And especially in the big cities that are being controlled by certain individuals that we know who they are now, that they are going to try to stop it from happening any way they can. But again, there's going to be so many events happening. All right. Everything that we do, we just, just take one step forward every day. Okay. Yeah, my biggest thing is stay calm in your heart. Once this is all over, all right, there's a really lot of cool stuff that's going to happen. Don't be freaking out. All right. Just sit back, enjoy your popcorn, and just listen to the people go, I didn't see that one coming. Okay. and just kind of flow with this. But
I'm totally with you, Richard, and I'm with Cliff also when he says he's excited like a kid in a candy store because we're getting into sci-fi world. We just have to get through this little hump here to get to the other side. So yes, I'm very excited also.
And Cliff, I know he doesn't believe in timelines, but Cliffy, I know you're changing. Okay. His accuracy on things that he had brought out, all right, are manifesting at not the times that he thought, but they're manifesting to the frickin' T. Okay. He absolutely, Spirit told me, the man is cutting into consciousness, okay, of the world. It's just the timing is off on a lot of things because of timelines. And they really do. I mean, they exist. If you say yes or if you say no, you take a right, you take a left. Even though it's a little change, you're still heading to the same direction, but there's a change there. And that's what's going on. But these things that he had, that he brings up, I mean, we are having atmospheric issues. Okay, come on. Is it normal for 14 inches of rain to fall in your favorite city, Las Vegas? Right. Just flood, right? I mean, these things.
We had a flood in Miami recently because of rain. It was a huge flood too.
Right. But
wiped a bunch of cars out.
And this is all interconnected to the crossing of the planets. Okay, it is. Okay, so you could say, oh, well, they're doing this. Yeah, can they manipulate some of that? Yeah, but the thing is this is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Well, what was that category called, Joe? Space Goat Farts or something like that?
Yeah, Space Goats Farts.
Mad Max says, hey, I never see Cliff anymore. Well, that's because he's not allowed to talk on here. But you can find him, of course, on BitChute there at bitchute.com/Cliff_high. And if you haven't seen this Narradime Investigations of Law video, it's a must video. Go check it out. Just a couple of days old. And it really puts into context here the changes that are coming here and what he's forecasting as this huge constitutional crisis. So go read up on that. Check out that video. You'll be better for it. Now, Joe, you mentioned the WebBot project earlier. Guys, if you go to beyondmystic.net/Cliff High, you'll see there on the top screen, you can download right next to me here the annual reports from 2016 and 17. These are directly from Cliff. He gave us permission to share this with you guys. A lot of people have reposted that on the web, but sometimes they've been abridged or changed. These are the files directly from Cliff. So if you're looking for some of those old WebBot data reports, you can download them for free. Here at beyondmystic.net/Cliff High. Just take a screenshot here. Please don't email me to find the link. It's right there. Really easy. But Joe, you mentioned at the beginning of the show that you were finding stuff related to the Queen and perhaps also to the financial systems here. Do you want to read a few snippets of that? And we'll try to break that down for the audience as well.
So this was from the December 2016 Alta report. Then I got another one from February 2017 Alta report. So the first one, a couple paragraphs. Other UK pop data sets are indicating that the shit is hitting the fan over pedophiles and power, as a large portion of the British governance is based around pedophilia associations. The impact of the various spin-off investigations from #pizza, you know what, is indicated to be very impacting of British ruling elites. A few other problems are also indicated to beset the British ruling elites. The more minor problem has the long-term values with it, and it is described as whittling or reducing slowly by small bites. This set brings in descriptors for a reduction of the belief in the ruling elites as royals. This set has many supporting sets that are showing that the same discovery and disruption that will be affecting of organized religions are also going to reduce to near nothing a public view of the royals in the positive light. The data has negative opinions and disgust and revulsion as primary supporting descriptors for this set. Within the details suggests that a public parade will take place in late spring or early summer in England, where there will be strange experience that the royals have ever had within their fiefdom. The data shows that silence and turned backs and public shaming are all going to be taking place. Further, the data also has the million voice defiance protest take place next year. And again, forget the timing when I mention the date or time, in which people in Britain will stand their ground and say rude things about the royals, including the Queen. The data shows a small attempt to arrest the people saying bad things about the Queen. It will not work. Further, the few who will be in custody will be freed by the mob. So I hear this, and I think we're getting close to this. It's not here yet. She's gone. But what are some of the conversations people have? Like I went right to the royal something Twitter account, the blue check mark Twitter account today, and 20,000 comments on the damn thing. And I'm seeing some comments in there about the word pedo, this and that, standing out. Lots of comments and interaction. So is it possible that a little later on, she's of course already gone, some news comes out, secrets revealed, another WebBot thing. Oh my God, the royals were doing what? Oh my God, what? Some of the comments I was reading today was talking about the indigenous people, kids, who were sent into those Catholic schools and the boarding schools. And all of a sudden we found 2-3 dozen bones of children on the campus, on the grounds. No one knows why is that here. Well, what were y'all doing with those kids? And we'll leave it at that. So maybe that information is really going to come out. And yes, the Queen's gone, but the people ain't having any of it. And they're going to start running their mouths about it because they're not happy. So of course the royalty, hey, she's, she was the Queen for 96 years. She was, died at 96 and you don't talk to her that way, and that people are like, no, we'll talk about her however we want. So they're going to get on to, maybe some things here that's just going to cause like a mini revolution. Like it says, and the people will be freed by the mob if the guards try to arrest them. The other report, you get into that?
Yeah, and what they're also, maybe as a side note, Was there not a reference also to the Commonwealth or the dismantling of the Commonwealth after her death, or some type of issue again with the people's perception of the royalty? I don't remember if that was in
don't know.
one of the web bots or he said that in an interview. Anyways, okay, keep going on the next one you just found.
Yeah, so this one's February 2017 under the same thing, UK pop data. The data sets are indicating that the breakdown of the rule of law in both the fringes of Europe, such as Turkey and Syria, are going to have extremely serious consequences in the UK. And this is going to kind of go back to the LBMA, London, gold. Like, this is interesting. The data sets are forecasting that pop war will be coming to the UK in several forms. The actual street battles are forecast for later in, again, date 2017, as the purge across Europe gains visibility and open support from EU pop and UK pop. These sets are also suggesting that information about dirty politics and murderers and such that will be leaking out in December will be magnifying the already burning social contract. The crash of the dollar-based debt financing system will provide a hard edge to the end of business in London and the rest of the Commonwealth for 2016 that is forecast to be punctuated by the pending information dump on British royals and their minions. Usual end-of-the-year celebrations, including annual pledges for a sober month, January or February, will be both easily forgotten within the financial chaos and emerging political upheaval. The popping of the growth bubble for the debt system is going to hit the UK very hard, with much of the damage being centered in London. The data sets are describing a few years of upheaval in UK property markets as the property ladder is separated into a couple of poles. And in other words, the ladder rungs are going away. You got nothing but two poles standing and a few sticks. The impact on the debt for property markets will become visible over early 2017 as the criminal skim off the economy slows to the point of exposing the frauds and the loss of value of properties, including very high-end London, that will exceed 50% within the first year of the currency's failure. A good temporal marker for the further leg down on UK property values beyond that first year of more than 50% will be the gold being moved out of London. We've just heard the LBMA not too long ago is shutting down out of London, and Putin's taken over. Now it mentions it'll just finish. Yeah. So again, a temporal marker is something like, here's a big event. When's it coming? Well, when this temporal marker hits, that's a good sign that this is soon after. That's what that means. Yeah. For those who don't know. A good temporal marker for the further leg down on UK property values beyond that first year of 50% or plus will be the gold being moved out of London, as well as runs panic to buy gold. When the rumors that quantities of gold are being removed from London, the data forecasts that a 90% devaluation of currencies will be emerging shortly thereafter. So, guys, we're on track.
On track. Wow. Okay, so let me bring this back up, guys. If you haven't seen this, we talked about this on the Monday night show, and I think also with Julie last night. We're at this pivotal point here where the East versus West, this what Richard was also talking about. And what's interesting here, going back to these WebBot data reports, there's one in particular that a lot of fans here on Joe's channel at JSNIP4 and mine here are waiting for, and that's the temporal marker of the $600 silver. Now, what was interesting in there also, I've recently asked a few of the psychics on the show to go back and visit that $600 silver and see where we are, temporarily speaking, with reference to that prediction. And one of the WebBot data hits or narrative was that at Christmas, people were going to be gathering around the table and discussing a phrase that goes something like this. Remember that guy on the street who's crazy, who bought all that silver? Well, he ain't that crazy anymore, right? So that would suggest that the $600 silver would happen perhaps before that Christmas time. Again, some of these are in the Web Data reports here if you want to download them there. But Richard, let's go back to this $600 silver. A few people are already asking in the chat. Britt Marit is also asking, hey, silver up soon. Where are you, do you think, on this timeline? And remind the audience, perhaps who haven't seen your previous shows, where you think and where Spirit told you silver is going in all of this.
Yeah, well, it's going up into some crazy numbers, but something that I did see first is, and we're literally right on the edge, is cryptos will start running very rapidly. I mean, really rapidly because of panic. And do you remember, oh God, it must have been years ago that Cliff said, he was just off on his time, that he saw Bitcoin and people having $100,000 parties. And before January, remember how he talked about it? Except he was off by a few years. It's this year. All right. I'm telling you, it's this year. I really believe what we're about to see is going to escalate so darn fast. That's why I said, buckle up and hold on. All right. And then I remember I said that I didn't know what it was, but something was going to be announced, and it seemed to be at the end of August, and it had something to do with the separation of gold and the paper market. Somehow I didn't know what it was, but then Putin came out at the last week of August and showing the gold, and then LBM. I'm going, my God, this is exactly what's happening. So understand, we're right here. That's why I said, don't freaking panic. Okay. We're right here. Everybody's waited, patiently trying to see this stuff happen. So calm your jets, because it's all happening right in front of you right now. But in my heart of hearts, I really believe that cryptos will start to jump this month. Okay. And they're going to continue. Okay. It's going to be really rapid. And then something happens with the gold and silver, the separation, and then that starts to climbing. And I really believe that's the panic. And what you brought up with Cliff, whenever he said that, I mean, all this, from psychics to Cliff, to what I'm getting and you guys are getting, come on. It's happening right in front of us. Mm-hmm. And same with these politicians. And I made a joke about it that one time. I said, does he look happy that everybody's got to see who he is and what he's doing? They're not happy. Even the Pope, that picture of the Pope in the wheelchair. No, it would have been really cool if he jumped up and started to break dance. Okay. I'm going, he just does not look happy. It's like, really? Yeah. I mean, look at him. Oh, if I could kick your ass, I would. That's what he's saying. But you can't.
Okay, Richard, I'll remind the audience also of a video you had on I don't know if it was my first channel or my second channel, but you talked about this fascinating shirt of yours here. You talked about $50,000 for a tube of silver being in the not too far.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The first one they showed me was 10 grand. All right. So that would be what, $500 an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
But then it didn't stop there. Later down the road, they said, take a look at this. And I looked at, holy mackerel. I saw $30,000 for a tube. And then the last one was 50 grand. Okay. But that was a caveat. They said we would not be able to own it at that time, that it would be more important for silver to be used for something else instead of monetary. And I know it has something to do with some sort of technologies or something, what I have no idea. But again, you're getting those jump ups to some crazy money. But the first one they showed me was 10 grand. And could it go higher? Yeah. I mean, they just showed me. It's kind of like how Joe says, when this happens, understand that's setting up for the other event. It's kind of like my bridges. All right. Every time one happened, Joe would call me or I'd call him. Yep, there's another one. Now watch what that's involved. So this bridge in London, the effects of it is much bigger. Remember, whatever it is, it's like a snowball going down a mountainside. It becomes bigger. All right. Everything that's wrapped around you. All right.
Mhm.
And this is definitely wrapped around the financial situation and the changing of the guard. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Litecoin Lisa, guys, go check her out on YouTube. She does amazing videos and teaches everybody how to use crypto. Speaking of that, Richard, I completely agree with you. Don't panic, but there is something in the WebBot data report that suggested that people would do exactly that, panic to own. So there was the idea of the gold and silver, but also finally getting into crypto. Now, Joe, explain to the audience members why we put this crash course together for the audience members. It was specifically for this time that we're entering now, so that people don't panic. And for that, you need to educate yourself and take those proper steps to protect yourself and your family. Explain what's in here in this course, Joe.
Yeah, we teach you how to open a wallet, how to use do your first crypto purchase on something like Coinbase, how to do a exchange trade on I think Mandela, how to open an Exodus wallet, a little bit about security stuff. We have a second addendum to that. That's a security video, but we do go over a few things in there. It's just everything you need to know that you can just follow right along. And if you've never done this before, just press pause, play, press pause, play, and just like go along with it so you can figure out what you're doing. Because when the day comes, when everybody's panicked to get in, and there's apparently going to be a day because it's in Cliff's WebBot data, like we know it's coming. We can't, you're not gonna be able to reach out to people and say, hey, teach me this, show me this. Everyone's gonna be laser focused on what's happening right now. Oh my gosh, what's my crypto portfolio doing? Get my stuff off the exchanges, like watching it skyrocket, because whatever just happened. So this is simply a how-to video to teach you how to get in. You could be a complete noob and know nothing, and you should be able to follow along. Even if you just said, you know what, the other stuff's hard. I just want to deal with Coinbase, and I'll take a chance and leave my coins on Coinbase. And, it is an American company. They do have insurance. So it's like, if you're going to leave it somewhere, I guess I'd leave it on Coinbase. But me personally, I take my stuff off and put it on my own wallet when I'm not trading. But when I'm trading, I got to have it on the exchange to trade, or else you can't do it.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, very good. So guys, check it out at beyondmystic.net. You're looking there for the pay-per-view course, the crypto crash course, Panic to Own with JSNIP4. Joe, while you have you there, also Richard is talking about a couple of $1,000 per ounce of silver here. I want to share with the audience members the discounts available to the Beyond Mystic audience for this evening's show. You can find that at beyondmystic.net/silver. Here, the folks at Miles Franklin's are offering you the 2022 Silver Philharmonics, the Krugerrands, the Britannias, and the Kangaroos at $475 over spot. Really cool price here, given the high premiums we're seeing across the board here and the very, very tight supply market for silver. This is new also on the right-hand side, the 2022 Silver Libertads. So you have all of the denominations there as well. So just fill out the form below and get one of those amazing reps at Miles Franklin here. Get back to you with your discounted prices here for the Beyond Mystic audience. And if you're on the Canadian side of the equation, you can also visit mfbullion.ca. And there they are shipping, of course, directly from Canada to you. And we have a special discount there tonight. Those are the silver maples, the Royal Canadian Mint silver maples at $7.49 over spot, shipped directly from Canada. Again, this is about $2.50 cheaper than the competitors here in Canada. So great price for you guys there as well. Joe, going back to that $600 silver, remember that something that Cliff had said about the corn being harvested, and a lot of people thought at the time, it was agricultural corn being harvested, but only to figure out that no, he was talking about agents from the farm. So he's talking about letter agencies and those operatives being rounded up. Now, we've seen in the last month quite a few of those people who work in different mainstream media positions disappear. What is your take on that? And I want to ask Richard also, how are we close to removing some of these operatives, what some people call the mockingbird media way back in the mid-centuries, to what is happening today? Can you, you made that list earlier of people who are going to be disappearing here with the TikTok, but what about those agents, and how close is that to maybe that $600 silver, Joe?
Yeah, the thing is, if you've studied anything about the CIA, and they've even said it, you know, we're firefighters, we're police officers, we're school teachers, we work in government. Like it's almost like a secret society, basically. And typically, the CIA is a shitbag of an agency. They're not good for people. They're not good for the country. You know, it's just this dark ops, black ops are doing. So if you look at some of the people at CNN, they're going away. Gone. And I think it was Tori again, maybe it was her, that mentioned, unless it was one of the certain board posts, I can't remember, had said CNN will at some point be Trump's #1 reporting news agency, like got his back. So we know the new CEO took over, made some changes, and apparently, as I've read recently, they reached out to like the GOP or the Republicans asking, you know, what could we do to, you know, be more fair and balanced or something like that. So I'm thinking you might see a complete 180 on everything, as these people who you think are normal people who aren't, they're part of the farm, the CIA, and they're going away, whether they're being dealt with or just getting fired, whatever, they're going away. Therefore, they don't have that position of power anymore, and somebody else is going to replace them. Way more fair. You know, if I say way more fair, it's not even about being unfair. These people had a job to do. Lie, propaganda. That's what I'm doing as the CIA agent who worked for CNN or Fox or whoever. So I think all these people are going to go away slowly but surely, and you're going to have normal people fill positions that would do a job we would all expect. And I think that's how that's going to go. But in relation to $600 silver, no idea, like timing or anything. You can kind of see it happening with them leaving. But as far as the precious metals, I mean, they're draining out the COMEX right now. I'm seeing, you know, David Morgan posting and stuff. You know, they're draining out the COMEX. But I think we're going to have that one singular event. Yeah, and it wipes the COMEX out. One final hoorah, and again, $6 silver, hundreds of dollar price of gold. You're probably not going to be able to buy any for that price because the premiums will just stay up. You know, I don't know any coin dealer that's going to want to take a beating like that, so they'll just say, no, I'm still, you know, I got $1,000 premium on gold if you want it. Still $1,800, you know, however you want to look at it. So that'll be the, you know, the disconnect of the paper market, the rigged market, and then Russia would be like, see, here we are, we're ready to go, come over here. You know, take place. And I think the crypto market, the stock market, I think we're all going to have one big quick slam down, and then off to the races, perhaps, like when real price discovery happens.
Right. Danielle,
and I'll mention one other thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Binance, which is the world's biggest exchange for crypto, has recently announced they're getting rid of USDC stablecoin and TUSD. That's not Tether. That's True USD. And then one other one that was kind of unknown. So that's like they have Tether and BUSD right now, which is Binance's. And that's the #1 I typically use right now is Binance's BUSD. And then Gemini Exchange just came out with an email I saw that said, oh, we're now accepting BUSD stablecoin. So I, you know, would advise people to, you know, pick and choose your stablecoins wisely. My first choice for a while now has been BUSD. I was okay with USDC, but now they're removing that off there. And it's like, okay, I don't know. But just a little friendly piece of news there.
Like Cornelisa just said, Joe knows. Yes, he knows a lot. So if you think this sounds like Chinese, you need to educate yourself. Please check out the Panic to Own crash course here on BeyondMystic.net. And somebody from the Insider Access Pass live chat also sent me this picture here. They've just received the third version here of the Beyond Mystic silver bars. Of course, this is the logo for Universal Love. Who was that? Paris, who sent me that? And Von Dren said, hey, I just ordered 2 more today. So yes, you can get your Beyond Mystic silver bars here as well at beyondmystic.net/silver bar is the special order form for these here. Richard, let's get back into some of these. Hold on a second here. There you go. Okay. Joe, actually, let me have you set this one up first, and then I want Richard to chime in on this one as well. So you sent me this just before the show, going back to this whole idea here of the queen dying, and some of these posts that Theos had made about the pretendency and what he had said about the queen. Set this up for the audience here. Watch your words. I know this is a little bit difficult, and I'll get Richard to chime in on this as well. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so I mean, just I wish I knew exactly what it meant, but when it's like one of those things. When Entheos posts, you better watch it, read it, try to understand it the best you can. Sometimes we can't, but obviously it was pretty important. If Joe Biden had whispered "God save the Queen" after certifying Trump essentially to become the next president, what does that mean? God save the Queen. Maybe Joe Biden knew the Queen's going to be in trouble, and if she's in trouble, the rest of us are in trouble because she's at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why he whispered it. But again, the fine detail and the Entheos posted that he just posted that. That's like today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So again, celebrate not death, rather the end control. Free at last, capital letters. Free at last.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a hint there, that could be it. We are free at last. The king, again, ding dong, the queen is gone.
Yeah.
And we are free at last. Or again, we have a little rough spot, but we're going to get past that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just black swan, gone. Bridge over troubled water, Taiwan. Like, Woo Dude's been talking about this stuff for months.
Richard, what do you make of this?
This is kicking it off.
Yeah, Richard, what do you make of this? And tie this in also to the fact that the queen might have been maybe one of the last, I'll say, human standing, and I say that generously speaking here, in terms of the different ET factions that are fighting over the control of Earth. And now that she's gone, what does that mean on the higher plane also of these extraterrestrial players who have a hand in our destiny? Richard.
There's so many that have a hand in that cookie jar. You just have to laugh at it. But Spirit's talking to me while you guys are talking. And so they always give me an analogy of certain things. And so I'm going to say something. We're going to get on a rabbit hole together right now. Now, please, these are all breadcrumbs, okay? Put it together. We're going to get on a rabbit hole together. All right, the rabbit goes down the hole and goes down there with Alice in Wonderland, right? Who's controlling the world over there? And what's a representation of, they look like different colored cards. Cards as in a deck of cards. Cards as in a... I want to be careful because they're showing me something. I'm going, oh, okay. When you're building a house of cards and then you take one out and did you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I try to give it to you in a way that's like, oh shit, I kind of get that one. It's a house of cards. You needed to remove the evil. What? I'm in Alice in Wonderland, right? Off with the head. Off with the head. Right? Okay. All right. Now I'll leave it like that.
Okay. Very good. Like when Lisa says, of course, today is Star Trek Day. Yes. Things that make you go of course. Joe, any correlation with the ET stuff, the space goat farts? Cliff was talking about the fact that this year we would be having a lot of conversations about ET. And just the other day, was it just before the Trump raid or the day after, the Pentagon also came out to say, hey, the ETs are not man-made. We don't know who they are. Of course, this is in relation to a report that came back last year, but they kind of put that news out almost on the same day.
It was
here.
Congress. It was Congress. Yeah.
Right. So tie that in together and also with the WebBot data and see how perhaps we're going to have more news on that front here moving forward here in the next maybe days and weeks. Joe?
It's possible. I mean, we've always heard about the fake ET invasion thing that, they would try to pull that card, just like the the pathogen card they've already pulled. We were waiting on that, and they finally did that one. So again, though, when I see who's really, really in charge, it makes me wonder if they try that, are they going to get away with it, or it'll just come out and we all see, oh, look, it's CGI, or they do it to an extent.
Yeah.
Like right now, you watch certain things that we've seen before, like especially if you watch stuff with NASA or the space station and they're up there with their hairspray, look, I'm in space, and they drop a ball and it falls. I mean, some of the dumbest things that you would just say, they had to do that on purpose. Like they had to show their hand on purpose. That's so stupid. They wouldn't have done that by accident. Yeah. So it's like there's little leaks being given to us, just slow breadcrumbs of a leak, not to shock us, but here's a little breadcrumb. Like, yeah, that was kind of strange, wasn't it? Yeah, that's weird. Hey, that's weird. There's too much of that going on right now for this just to be an incompetent, astronaut or whatever. Like, it's just, again, it's like this is a big movie, and the person that was running the movie production has been replaced. Team Trump is now there, steering the wheel and making worse CGI and worse things, that really stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So if there's the fake ET invasion thing, it's going to be a piss poor show. I think I would say it would go up in smoke. Something would happen and go, oh my God, we just caught him.
Right.
If it were to happen, it may not even happen because they're not in charge. But again, it still may need to. I'm not Trump. I'm not Team Trump. I don't know what they're weighing and do this, not do this. Let's let that happen. What's the reason? Why would they need to let the fake ET thing happen? I don't know. So it's hard to say, but we do know.
Go ahead.
I mean, we do know there's got to be some ET interference here. I mean, there's no question about it. But
yeah,
I haven't gotten a dream. I haven't gotten something that's really given me any information to really comment on it. So
let me bring this piece in. What Cliff was suggesting in one of these videos, and I'm paraphrasing, hopefully I get this right here. This was a couple of videos ago. Not sure which one it was. Maybe it was the ecology one. At any rate, he was saying that, or maybe it was the Big Ugly video. Go and check that one. He was saying that the bad guys, to not say the actual word here on YouTube, would be maybe forced to change the channel here because things are going so badly out of shape for them, and that they would pull that ET card, but that eventually that would bite them in the ass, because even though they would try to pull it for a specific reason, then when that cat's out of the bag, we go back and look at, hey, wait a second, how are they getting here? What's their propulsion method? We have an energy crisis going on right now. The secrecy of it all, how many people were killed for all of this, et cetera, et cetera. And then suddenly we're off to the races. All of this Big Ugly comes out. We have to heal from it and we move forward. So in a way, they're forced to do it, but at the same time, it's also maybe the method of their own demise. So I thought that was very interesting. Richard, you're nodding your head there. Do you want to add anything to that? And then I wanted to ask you about the stock markets also. There's a question from Christian Richards. But first about this ET stuff. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay. So his part of my acting, picture me as a guy who works for a 3-letter agency. And then Bluebeam shows up. Wow, that's pretty cool. Wow, we're really good at this, aren't we? And then the other guy says to him, well, what about that thing? Is that ours? Oh, shit. I didn't see that one coming. So it's kind of like you're going to go ahead and do this, but surprise, we're here. Okay. Oh, yeah, they're here. And they're interdimensional. They're coming in and out of dimensions. And that's how they arrive here. They arrive here through portals, and it's no different than orbs. When orbs come in, they explain to me that it's far easier for them to appear to us, okay, in a manner that they do, because they can go from one dimension to the other. And it all has to do with, and I'm no scientist, okay, with plasma. It's all plasma. Okay, this is how they go back and forth. But the big surprise is, okay, are you guys ready? Let's give them a show. Uh-oh, who the hell just showed up? Oh, shit. Okay, so, it's going to be remarkable. That's why I just sit back. And it's like all these guys that think they have control of everything, they don't. All right.
Very cool.
Way bigger hand out there.
Bigger hands. Kristen, just joined. JC, apologies if I missed it, but they said today that the stock market would stop on the Queen's funeral. Will this cause a crash? Or does this lead in perhaps to those couple of days of darkness? Joe or Richard, you're on the screen. You want to go first? How do you want to tackle this one?
Okay, again, everybody talks about 10-day of darkness. Remember what I said, and Cliff will say it many times over, words can have different meanings. Okay, 10 days of darkness really has to do with everything happening. It doesn't have anything to do with everything being dark for 10 days. Okay, it has to do 10 days of darkness that you'll go back 5 years or 10 years from now, you're going to go, oh man, do you remember those 10 years? Oh shit, or those 10 days? Oh shit. Okay, it's everything that's coming together. And just earlier in this show, remember how I said the bridge, whatever you see, constitutes something bigger. Something will be attached to it. Now they're shutting down the stock market. Understand that's connected to it. The LBMA, that's connected to it. Everything. And you just got to bring it together and understand, oh shit, yeah, it's going to happen. You know, the other day I told my daughter, and again, this is not financial advice. I'm talking to my daughter. I said, sweetheart, you really ought to take some of that money out of your 401k.
I was just going to say, yeah.
And keep cash at home because you're really going to need it. Okay. And again, this is not financial. Okay. It's me talking to my daughter, and we're going to need everything to get through them. But all these things, it's a snowball. Don't just look at the one item. Okay. Anything that attaches to it, is going to become larger, like a snowball going down a mountainside. So everything that was announced today, think of it now, from the LBMA, now the stock market. What else is going to be attached to this? Whatever it is, it starts in September and runs through November. It's very, very big, but they're all interconnected. And I want to doubt if we see a couple other things happen before this night's out.
Wow. Interesting. Guys, join me. Join. Okay, this is the really, really super duper weird show. It's going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're recording, of course, a live, uncensored pay-per-view on this whole story. So we're going to get into a lot of the stuff that you can't even come close to touching here. And I do apologize for the scary picture. But anyways, check that out. It'll be available on pay-per-view. And of course, it's free to all of you guys on the Insider Access.
Wait. I want to copyright this. It's my idea. Okay. That photo right there. Tell me that would not make a good pens dispenser. Remember those little candies?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Credit to Julie, one of my co-hosts, who's a graphic designer, who helped me with this poster. I thought it was absolutely
Julie.
She did a good job. Anyways, join us tomorrow live on pay-per-view at 1 o'clock Eastern for that one. Richard, while I have you on the screen here, there's a few people are asking, hey, how do we get a booking with you? Let me bring up your website here. It's woowoodude.com. What's your schedule looking like right now? If people go onto the site and they try to book a reading from you, where are you booking into right now, Richard?
I'm not too sure. Just go to the website. It'll have it all listed there, whatever's going on.
And Richard, explain how your sessions go. For some people who may not have heard of you before and they're wondering, okay, if I do a session with Richard, what do I get out of it? Where does he start? Do we do past lives? Does he read cards? Like, how does this work, Richard?
What do you get out of it? Nothing. Just nothing at all.
Good day, sir.
You have a good one, will you? You know, what I try to stress to people, and probably 80% of the people have rebooked. Do you know what I say? I mean, these are just people that keep going on. And what I try to tell people is that I don't try to be vague on anything. I just, that's not who I am. So if they put me over a target, that's very, very important. I could dive right in and give them the answer. And that's what I do. So no bullshitting around. Not, in 12 years from now, I see this happening. Nah, horseshit. Give me what's important to you, and I'll dive into it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Guys,
it's pretty easy.
woowoodo.com is the place to be. Joe, before I go tonight too, before I bring up your website and your Patreon, anything else on the list of things we wanted to talk about tonight? Was there more on the web data or anything else I missed before we go?
No.
We're pretty much
We're
there.
good.
Okay. Patreon.com/JSNIP4. Joe, explain the two packages here, the Crypto Woo Woo and the JSNIP4 Elite, specifically now for the people who might be inching in the panic to own frequency and who need a little bit of help here, bridging that knowledge gap here moving forward.
Yep, we got that main plan in the middle, JSNIP4's Crypto Woo Woo. That's the only one you need to join and get all my information that I get, from dream stuff to whatever. Woo Dude sometimes calls. He'll have a coin, or Spirit will give him something. Usually when he calls, it's like, get on it now because it's going to be soon, real soon. And then I've got the Elite package over there because sometimes people want to ask me questions or do a portfolio review or things like that, and they want me to reply. So, like on a private message thing. So I'll do that. And that's it.
Okay, very good. And Joe, quick update on the helicopter. Where you're at with that, the license. Are you planning any new trips to New Mexico? What's going on? I know a lot of people want to follow you on your next treasure hunts, even though it's been a weird 2 years not being able to do much of that. Give the audience here a little bit of an update on where you're going.
Yeah, so when I went and got a couple things, it had a little small oil leak, and it was time I had to redo the annual in April, basically, because one of the things that had to be replaced. So something that you kind of got to do a lot to get to it. So it's like, we'll just do an annual while you have it, and I'll reset the annual clock on it. They got it up, great. So flies fantastic. Everything's great. And they told me they had this old ratty trailer that it would fit right on. You could fold the blades back and all this. And I go, man, let me see it. So he sent me a picture. Of course, it was rusty and kind of bad shape, but he gave me it for like $2,500. So I'm like, I'll take it, and I'll get my guy down here to redo it and paint it and change this and fix that, So I got all that done and got it back, nice, great, kind of a gray color trailer. So it's all done, all set, brand new wheels and tires, everything. And cool. It's ready. And I just got I had him put in a toolbox on the front of it, little light aluminum toolbox to store stuff. And then I got a second one I'm going to put on the back side of it. So right now the helicopter's just sitting at the airport. It's covered. And I've been flying it a little bit here and there. My wife has finally decided she would go up because Ian wanted to go so bad. And she's like, I don't want to go up because if we die, if we crash and die, our kids, especially Ian, will be parentless. And I'm like, yeah. So he saw me take both of his sisters, and, he was wanting to go. So Evelyn's like, all right, I think I'll just like do a small little flight with you. I said, all right. So we went up. And she actually really liked it. She's like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I go, well, let me show you what an engine out would feel like, simulated, and I won't go all the way down. I'll put power back in it way before we get down,
Right.
And it's not like you're falling out of the sky. It's nothing like what you think. So she was just like, oh, that's really not bad at all. Okay. And so we did some maneuvers, and then I took her friends and did some more maneuver stuff. It's just awesome. And it's fun flying, but it's fun to take somebody up and see their joy and to watch their facial expressions of it's so cool.
I saw the video you posted of you with baby Ian, who's not a baby anymore, on the chat we have with Cliff. But did you put that also on your JSNIP4 YouTube channel?
No.
Can people see that here? No? Okay.
No, I don't think it was. Yeah, I think that was just on Telegram.
Okay, but you do have some helicopter clips here. Guys, go check it out at JSNIP42 here on YouTube. He's at 26,000 here, trying to rebuild that community. He was also dinged at the same time as me here a couple months ago, trying to refine that community. So if you haven't done so already, please remember to hit that subscribe button there to check out what Joe has to say. And he's got a lot to say.
Well, to answer your question, though, about the timing, I'd like to go, sooner rather than later, but I still don't have anything locked in place. Again, it's like I could maybe go late this year, I could go earlier next year, but it's like I think it's the clock's ticking. The clock has started now on some major shit. I may not be going anywhere. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna kind of play it by ear for now and just.
Well, you're missing your two buddies who do all the work for you, of course. Myself.
I know. I did. I got a couple new guys.
Yeah, and I can't even make it to the States right now, being as I'm a refusenik, as they say, so I can't even cross the border to you guys right now. So eventually, after all of this, I'm looking forward, and I can't wait to do videos with you and Dave live from New Mexico here on the channel. Wouldn't that be absolutely phenomenal? So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Richard. This was, of course, the Wacky Woo edition of the Operation London Bridge. I love you guys. Please remember to join us tomorrow. Where's that little poster? That ugly, ugly poster. Where did it go? Right here. Join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern for this other really weird show where we get into a lot more details for you guys. I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic. I love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
See ya.
I'm telling you, we can mark